Hey everybody, I know it's been a while, but I just thought I'd touch base. And I haven't done an Enneagram video in a long time. And it's not because I'm not thinking about it, but I've just been so busy. But I just thought I'd make an observation and then I'd want to just give a heads up and talk a little bit about what's been going on. It's interesting because through this pandemic, I've still had to work. I'm an essential worker and um, I work in a lab, and it's interesting because I don't work in a kind of job that's a very type 4 job. Actually, I mean, I'm sure there's another type 4 at my company somewhere, but they're going to be in the minority. And I think it's interesting because I think for me, the reason I'm able to work this sort of a job that's kind of not as you would expect a creative person to work is because a number of reasons. One, I think has to do with the fact that I didn't even realize I was creating a difference. I was setting myself as someone different. So I'm the only one among those I know who is a prolific writer. I'm not working around other writers. Also, I've said around other writers, I'm also the one who has a hard science degree. No one else does. And my job is actually utilizes skills that I don't use in my creative world, or like my type 4-ishness. So like, for example, I'm an INFJ, 4-wing 5 on the Enneagram with a strong 3-wing. Sometimes I wish I had a stronger 3-wing because then I'd be better at marketing myself, which I'm not. I tend to withdraw from that. But I have the kind of ambition to want to create and to keep going. And so, but my job is actually a very sensory-oriented job. It's not an intuitive so much job, even though I do use some intuition. It's sensory, it's detailed, it's sensory, and there's a degree of physicality to it. It's noticing things, and at times, physically I feel very in my body. And so like when 4s integrate to 1 is a body type, I feel like this job gets me into my body and out of my head, because I feel like, so my job is very structured, and I've always excelled better. I've done better in jobs that are structured. I'm not someone very good at just winging it, because I like to plan. So that's like my judging side. And I think that in terms of my job, because my mind is so filled with ideas, emotion, a lot of emotion, that if I was in a job where all I did was be stuck in my head or in my feelings and emotions, I would probably be a mess. I've told type 4s that the easiest way of sort of getting yourself out of this emotional rut is to get back into your body. And I noticed after I realized this, I did that a lot in my writing. I will have descriptions of characters, will have like kind of maybe a philosophical kind of question, but I always return them back to their body. I just am working on a novella right now on Joan of Arc, and I'm speaking about how she prays, and this is one of her miracles where she manages to shift the course of the wind, and so her troops can cross over into Orleans. They can cross the water. They couldn't do it because the wind was too strong. So that's known to be like one of her miracles. But I mention how I make a comment in the writing about how she looks small in her her body looked larger in her armor than what she was, and just little things like you might wipe your brow, you clear your throat, you're always going back into the body. And so I think for my type of job that is not stereotypical a 4 kind of job, is really, maybe it is because I am forcing myself in sort of an integrated kind of situation, where I am observing, using my sensory abilities, getting back into my body, routine, structure. That way I have my mind is free so I can think of these ideas. You know, they always say jobs for type 4s or creative types, but you can't really always make your living as a writer. It'd be nice, but it's not, it just doesn't happen. And so you got to have regular work. And I think during this pandemic, I've been working. I haven't been, I haven't been quarantined, other than, I got sick a number of weeks ago, and who knows if, I don't know if I had COVID or not, but, I've had to go to work, and it's sort of like divided. Either there's people who have no work and they're bored and they're at home and depressed, or you're being worked to death, and, so it's like either extreme. And trying to find that balance is really important, because I want to work my writing and not make my life all one thing. So I just had that kind of observation. I would like to do some more Enneagram videos. I haven't forgotten. I uploaded yesterday a small snippet from my novella. It's the last little video I posted. It's funny because whenever I post something like about my creativity, I lose some subscribers. And I think a lot of people want to hear the Enneagram stuff, which is fine, but I'm also a person, and I'm sharing with you what I'm working on. So that video, I was kind of frustrated because I actually would like you to just listen. Yeah, you see my cat Dolce walk by, but I'd like you to just listen. If you listen to it, the video is just me pointing on the floor, and I use my phone, so I don't know. Anyway. So that's that. Before all this happened, I was doing all this planning. I was going to release other books this year. I was going to release a short story collection, another novel. And I'm not saying for sure I'm not going to release anything else this year. I might actually hold off on that, simply because I know right now people are tight for money and there's a lot going on. There's a lot of uncertainty. So I don't want to release stuff during so much uncertainty. Not to mention that when I go back, and I wanted to release another story collection, one of my early ones, it takes a lot of time. I got to go through and read through it and clean it up. And right now, with my workload, with my job, and also with trying to get this writing done, this novella I'm working on is different than my other stuff in the sense that it's more poetic writing. So while it's not high it's not going to be a high word count, it's much harder to write poetic kind of writing than it is just to write back and forth, surface, funny dialogue. It doesn't really have that. So it's taking me a while. I'm enjoying it, but it's taking me a while to get through it. And that's just how it's going to be. So other than that, I noticed that clothing stores are really selling stuff really for cheap right now. And I bought a few things. I actually got this scarf. It was at a deal through spend so much and you get free shipping or something. It's so pretty. It's so soft. And what I ended up buying was more loungewear. I'm like, what do you need during a pandemic? Okay, I need another pair of jeans. I bought some, I'm wearing them right now, really soft kind of just lounge pants. And I bought some others that, you can wear, just go to the grocery store, but it doesn't make you look like a total bum. So I was like, yeah, I kind of need some of that stuff. Like this sweater I'm wearing, I actually wear this out of the house, and then so sometimes when it gets a little cold, I put it on, but I'm like, I ordered a different kind of sweater that is only going to be an indoor sweater. Like I find myself always needing in the house an indoor sweater when it's air conditioned or whatever. I get kind of cold, and while this is fine, I use this outside. So I'd like a sweater, a little cardigan that I ordered. I have that coming. Anyway, not like you care, but I'm just saying that just a way to support businesses. And so I'm trying to think what else. I'm working on this novella. I'm just totally shooting it. I haven't been wearing my earrings because I don't want to have earrings and then put on the mask, and so I haven't been doing the whole makeup thing. I'm not rushing out to the salons, I actually think that they're opening too early. Maybe by the end of the month I'll consider, doing something. I don't know what, but when you go to the salon, they require you to wear a face mask and things like this. So, and from what I've seen, people aren't rushing to go to restaurants. I'm still taking food out, eating. It's beautiful outside right now, and it's a shame because it's really been one of the prettiest springs where I live in a long time. Not hot, perfect weather. That's why I'm out here. But there's not a whole lot you can do. And it's just been very polarizing right now. I have a lot of strong political opinions, and you can probably guess they're not in favor of the current administration. But I really do believe that the responsibility of a leader is to set an example. And that's not being done. And, I remember when 9/11 happened and people cried and they mourned the loss of 3,000 people who died. And this was a big deal. And now here we are. They're just sort of like, well, if a bunch of people die, whatever. And they're just so selfish. I mean, the reason they want you to wear masks is really to help others. There are people out there who are immunocompromised, who are weakened physically. And we live in a society. You can't just think all about you. You have to think about them. And you could say all you want, oh, well, they should just stay home. Well, you know what? People who are immunocompromised and have issues, physically weak and compromised immune systems, they still have to buy groceries. They still have to get things done. So when they go out, that's where they're putting themselves at risk. So that's why they're asking you to wear the masks. It's not just about you. And so, anyway, I think that's about it. I will think about some more Enneagram topics in the future, but if you want to just listen to that video I did, I wish I could make it better. I mean, normally, you know what else? I never used to share works in progress. I used to be always like, no, I can't share this until it's done. But I've noticed since I've been doing these video blog things and also having a Facebook page, I will post little excerpts and stuff because I'm not sharing the full context, the full text. But, sometimes it helps if you're a writer to listen. You read your stuff aloud, listen to how it sounds to you, and then think, is there anything I could change? And just in that excerpt, I was like, I'll probably tweak a few things, and it's just still a work in progress. It's only like 3 minutes long, but it's only one little section, so the sections are actually very small. They're very kind of heightened poesy in a way. And in one of my earlier videos, I recommend the bridge books, and I kind of took the format of the bridge books. I like that it's distilled down to little scenes because my goal is not just to retell the story in the same way it's been done. It's to make my own version of it. It's equivalent to if a painter were to paint their version of this famous person, they are going to put their own spin on it and themselves in it, and that's what I'm doing. I mean, as I said, there's no real record of real dialogue other than her trial, which I'm not going to retell the trial, but just aspects of it. But I'm using this idea of the image of nature and the trees. She had this tree that she visited as a child, and I find that very interesting because upon the last moments of her life, what she requested was a cross made from 2 sticks. So going back to that tree, that nature, God, nature, these are some of the themes I'm addressing. So anyway, it's a beautiful day. I'm going to do some more writing and maybe watch a movie later, but really going to enjoy sitting out here. And then, and that's it. So I thank you for listening. If anyone else, if you want to message me, if you want to read anything, I can't share you this current book because I'm not done with it, but if you want to read any of my stuff that's not available online, and there's a lot of it, my later stuff, just let me know. And I will be in touch, and Thanks for listening.